still processing. Unraveling bindweed from the squash and buckwheat, onions and zinnias, I was listening to a still processing podcast about Whitney Houston. The hosts were discussing Whitney's early career, her royal family. She's connected to both Dionne Warwick and Aretha Franklin, and her relationship with Bobby Brown, which some channel decided ought to be a reality television show, in which, from the sounds of it, a lot of people thought made good TV. As I understand it, they were not having an easy time, which, yes, is a euphemism for they were a train wreck. And we do love a train wreck, especially if all the passengers on the train are black. I imagine you have to pitch a show like that. I imagine you have to have meetings and secure producers or directors, get a budget, things like that. Many decisions and agreements have to occur, probably many handshakes, some drinks, plenty of golf, trying to figure out how best to exploit, to make a mockery of, a black family, the adults in which have made some of the best pop music of the last 30 years. I never saw it, but its old hat, the commodification of black suffering. If I had a nickel for every white person who could recite lines from The Wire, I have no illusions, by which I mean to tell you it is a fact that one of the objectives of popular culture, popular media, is to make blackness appear to be inextricable from suffering, and suffering from blackness. Is to conflate blackness and suffering, suffering and blackness, 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 blackness and suffering. Which is clever as hell if your goal is obscuring the efforts, the systems, historical and ongoing, to ruin black people. Clever as hell if your goal is to make appear natural what is, in fact, by design. And the delight? You have been reading a book of delights written by a black person. A book of black delight. Daily as air.